allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next regular meeting is scheduled for Friday, February 14th, 2020 at 9 a.m. at the Community Center, 3500 Edgewater Drive, Sebring, Florida. Please silence and turn off your cell phones. Consent agenda. The minutes of the Board of Supervisors meeting on Friday, January 10th, 2020. We have a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Any public comment?
Excuse me. Is this the minutes? Approval of minutes?
Yeah.
I've got one item. Yeah, it's on, I think, page 9.
Mike's not on.
The mic isn't on.
Dave Halvey.
Still not on.
Need an engineer. Christie. Okay, anyway.
There it is.
Is that better? All right. There was a statement, I made a statement at the point of reference in the audio is 40 minutes and 32 seconds, 40 minutes, 32. My statement that the idea was unique was in reference to Supervisor Branson's recommendation that the landowner voting structure be changed. Mr. Herring's idea was to basically have 5 landowner seats, and I'd never advocate that. At no time did I mention Mr. Herring's name in my statement. I'd like a correction to that, please.
Noted.
So do we wait for the amended minutes to approve them?
To be, approve as amended.
Okay. Do we just have a motion to do that?
Move to approve with amendment.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second. Okay, any additional public comment?
Tom Crosby, resident. Just a couple of things that were left out of the minutes. I would like to know what the policy is about recording comments that are made between supervisors during the meeting that were or possibly were not intended to be heard by the public, but you can hear them on the recording. Comments from supervisors suggesting that people in the public who come to the podium are to be told to sit down, and how long are you going to let that guy stand up there? And a few other comments like that I would like somebody to listen to the recording of the last meeting and listen to those comments and make some kind of reference in the minutes that those comments were made. I'd also like to ask, was the recording, were the microphones on this morning from the time that we started doing business here? Were they on from 8 o'clock? There's a lot of conversations were going up here. In the past, we've had citations about violation of the Sunshine Law regarding things that were picked up prior to the meeting beginning by supervisors talking to each other in violation of the Sunshine Law. Any comments from anybody about any of that?
I can comment that I know no comments that would have violated the Sunshine Law. We were just predicting nothing about what was going to be voted on.
Okay. So it's part of the public record. No, thank you very much.
So we're ready to vote, I guess.
Supervisor Gilpin?
Yes.
Supervisor Hotelling?
Yes.
Supervisor Brooks?
Yes.
President Branson?
Yes. Okay, we need a motion to recess to conduct a landowner meeting. Second. Any more discussion? Public comment? Tanya?
We do have a quorum present today, and if the three supervisors, if y'all would like to come sit in the audience, and we will open the floor for nomination of chairman.
Do we need to have a vote on the adjournment?
Oh, sorry. Supervisor Hotelli?
Yes.
Supervisor Brooks?
Yes.
Supervisor Gilpin?
Yes.
President Branson?
Yes.
I'd like to open the floor for nominations of chairman of the landowners meeting.
I'd like to nominate Wally Edgell for chairman.
Any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Bill Norcross to run the meeting.
Any other nominations? All those in favor of Wally Edgell for chairman?
Point of order. Don't we have to vote our dollars?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. I think they got them all back here.
Yeah, the proxies are only for,
This is just for chairman.
this is just for chairman. The proxies are only voting for supervisor.
The ordinance doesn't say everything that comes up at the meeting is voted on the basis of dollars.
Excuse me, we're going to vote for chairman at this point, so we can run the meeting.
Talking about everything at the landowners meeting is voted on the basis of one vote, $1.
Correct.
Correct.
This is part of the landowner meeting.
Correct.
All those in favor of Dr. Edgell for chairman, say aye. Aye.
Who's the other one? Mr. Norcross.
Mr. Norcross.
All those in favor, Mr. Norcross.
All those in favor of Mr. Norcross for chairman?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Edgell. Eric, would you like to sit down?
Okay. The community center opened at 8 o'clock this morning, and early registration and acceptance of ballots. The election is for the landowner seat vacated by Dan Stiegel. The candidates for this seat are Mark Cant, Craig Herrick, Sabita McKinney, and Ward Miller. Polls will close promptly at 10 a.m. The landowner seat occupied by Mike Gilpin from January 22nd, 2016 until today, January 29, 2020, is now to expire. Mike Gilpin filed his written notice of intention as the only qualifier for the upcoming term, January 24, 2020 to January 26, 2024. Minutes of the landowners meeting held on January 25, 2019. I'll have Candy do those.
Before we move to the minutes, let's nominate a secretary, please. So I'd like to open the floor for nominations of secretary. Item number 4.
I'd like to nominate Tanya Kennedy for secretary.
Any other nominations? All those in favor?
Aye.
The annual landowners meeting was held on Friday, January 25th, 2019. We had about 42 people in attendance. The Chairman Edgell, he talked about the business and opened the floor for any nominations of chairman and secretary. Of course, he was chairman at that meeting. The approval of the minutes were approved and read into the district minutes. The annual report was given by myself, district manager. We noted that, of course, copies are available for you right now if you'd like to look at the minutes of the 2019 meeting. I explained in my report that we had many operational and project accomplishments in 2018. The Board of Supervisors adopted, as policies, budget adoption and fee schedules were held in 2018 regular meetings of the Board of Supervisors with 3 special meetings during 2018. Each meeting sought to develop district growth and amenities, accomplishments of the board, including the adoption of a strategic action plan. The program determines future processes to improve facilities, amenities, and operational growth, brand marketing, finance stability, and advancement to governance. I extended my appreciation to the board for their commitment and the well-being of the district and its citizens with cooperation from district management's team. I referenced the tragic events of SunTrust Bank and, thank the Sheriff's Office and the community. We had several public comment during that meeting from Mr. Gustavo Ibanez, Mr. James Barnhart, and Mr. Dave Halbeck. The meeting was adjourned at 9:14 a.m.
Okay, now we need a motion now to approve the minutes. Would you like to make a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second. We have a second for that. Let's go ahead and have a vote. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? First time we ever heard that. So we're now at the Tanya, if you take over about the election of landowners.
Good morning, Honorable Chairman, landowners, and staff. I'm pleased to present you the 2019 annual report for the Sun Lake of Sebring Improvement District. I'm going to present a verbal report today, and my written report will be online next week for all those that would like a copy. During the year, we've completed some substantial projects here in the district. The first being the clubhouse kitchen expansion in Lanai. We also purchased new furniture for the clubhouse dining area, the Deer Run pump station upgrades, the Deer Run greens with irrigation upgrades. The golf course bathroom renovations were remodeled, of course, with a new tile and other features. The new driving range mat, the water plant electrical upgrades, 3 miles of road paving, and the Phase 3 drainage improvement plan. These are projects that we completed during the year at $3.2 million in capital and infrastructure improvements. Our budget last year was $11.3 million, while maintaining healthy reserves for our district. Also, some notable points I'd like to make is that we, in 2019, we had 28 new construction of homes for residential, compared to 17 in 2017 and 25 in 2018. Also, the district foreclosed on 182 acres of land next to Tanglewood, which is comprised of 1,534 lots. We will be actively marketing this property so that it will be back on the tax roll for Southern Lake District and Highlands County. We continue to provide exceptional recreational amenities here in the district for golf, pickleball, tennis, fitness, and our water aerobics classes. We currently have 371 golf memberships in our community. Security and code enforcement are very active here and provide safety and minimum maintenance standards for our residents. Our utility department services over 3,700 meters, including 1 water plant and 2 wastewater treatment plants. This week is my 9-year anniversary here with the district. I would like to thank the Board of Supervisors for their continued support over the years. Second, I want to thank the district's management team for all their support. Michael Curley is here today, Facilities and Security Director, Omar DeJesus, Finance Director, Ariel Starling, Community Services Director, and Michael Lemire, General Manager, Southern Lake Golf Club, and Earl McMinn, Director of Grounds and Golf. Thank you very much.
I'd just like to take a second to thank Tanya and Mike Hurley and their staff too, because I think if you look around, you see what their successes are. It's not hard to find. So I'd like to thank them for that. We now, are you going to explain the election procedures? You can this year from not everybody seen.
If there is anyone at this time that would like to cast a ballot, please do so now. So as Chairman Angela explained earlier, the vote today is for Dan Stiegel's vacated seat. We have Mr. Craig Herrick, we have Mr. Mark Camp, Mr. Vita McKinney, and Mr. Ward Miller. I guess at this time, in the agenda, I said that the polls will close promptly at 10 a.m., so keep them open till 10 o'clock. And if any of you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer those at this time.
Okay, then at this time I'll recess this meeting and we'll reconvene at 10 o'clock.
Sometime after. How long do we?
Well, yeah,
how long do you want to get to the conference?
I don't think so.
Tom Costi. The last, pardon me?
We're in business right now.
I thought somebody asked if anybody had any questions.
So we can recess till 10:30 to give them time to.
Okay. This is at the last landowner election that we had here, our last contested landowner election. The meeting went on until after 10 p.m. I look back at going back even beyond that. I could not find a landowner election that ended before 1 o'clock in the afternoon. How was the public in general informed that the polls were going to close at this time of the morning on Friday morning when there are hundreds of people here that are used to coming to this election all day? I don't recall that there was any significant announcement that went out to the voting public that these polls were going to end at 10 o'clock in the morning. Granted, landowner meetings have ended at this time in the past, but not when there was an election. Thank you.
We sent an e-blast out in the community saying that the polls would close at 10. We also have a newsletter, and then I've indicated it here on the agenda for those that are curious on the times. Those are the ways that we advertised the 10 a.m. closure. We felt opening at 8 o'clock this morning would give the community ample time to vote. We also
Yeah, we had early voting, and technically, according to the provisions or the election procedures adopted by the board back in 2012, if you're not present at the time the meeting starts at 9 o'clock, you're technically not allowed to vote. So keeping the polls open until 10 o'clock is an additional time for everybody that wants to vote to have their chance to cast their vote.
Okay, well, with all those announcements and so forth, the public's certainly fully been noticed about this date and time, so we'll recess this meeting until 10:30. Have the meeting here, and we're going to have David explain where we're at this point, and then I'll come back to these things. But then David explain how the balloting is going.
Okay, so right now we're having a little bit of technical issues with the internet, the verification of proxies. It's taking a little bit longer than expected because of the internet connectivity issues. So my recommendation is going to be that we stay in recess or re-recess and be in recess until noon. Hopefully that will give us enough time to get all of the proxies verified and have all the final ballots cast. And then our recommendations, we would then at noon reopen the meetings. And at that point, assuming we've had enough time to get all the proxies validated and all final votes cast, we can then restart the meeting at noon and open the ballot box and start counting votes at that time.
Okay, and then I'm going to officially close the meeting recess as of now, and we'll reopen at 12 o'clock. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to reconvene this meeting and turn it over to David and let him explain what we're going to do, and then I'll go from there.
Okay, so we're still having some final issues. We're getting the proxies validated so the final votes can be cast. What we're going to do is we're going to recess, for my recommendations, and we're going to recess again, this time until 2 o'clock. We expect at that time for all the proxies to be counted and all ballots to be cast, and we're going to have the accountants that are here present open the ballot box and start tabulating those votes, so that hopefully at 2 o'clock we can announce a winner. So my recommendation is that we go ahead and recess again until 2 p.m.
As for no news is smart one here, I'm going to take his advice and we'll recess this meeting until 2 o'clock.
It's 2:05. We are going to reconvene the landowners meeting. Dr. Edgell he was not able to be here this afternoon, so Mr. Bill Snyder has agreed to chair the rest of the landowners meeting. If there is another nomination for chairman, please do so now. Okay. We are on number 10 of the agenda for election results.
Get close to it. Okay, the election results. Ward Miller, 2,870 votes. Craig Harry, 342,847 votes. Yaldita McKinney, 3,520 votes. Mark Camp, 223,337 votes. Okay. Now, so I guess Craig Harry won the election there. Are there any contesting results for the election? Would anybody like to contest it?
Could you read those numbers again?
Ward Miller, 2,870. Craig Harry, 300,042,847. Yaldita McKinney, 3,520 votes. Mark Camp, 223,337 votes.
Can I ask you a question? Do I have to come to the podium?
Yeah, if you want to meet for recording purposes, yes, there's going to be voting.
Mark Camp, for the record. Just a question I have is, this is public records for the votes, correct?
Correct.
Yes. What is the process by which I need to go through to get that spreadsheet?
Just do it, public records request.
That's it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
There's no contest, then just bring it.
Okay, do we have any unfinished business?
No, sir.
No. New business? David?
Yes. Okay, the prior couple of board meetings, the board originally talked about looking into going to 5 popularly elected supervisors, moving away from the 3 popularly elected and 2 landowner seats. And then at a subsequent meeting, it was decided that we would look into or research the possibility of moving from a $1, 1 vote premise to a 1 strap number, 1 vote. Basically, so each person that has a strap, your property is defined in the tax records by a strap number, and each strap number that you own, you would be able to allow to vote based on that. Based on the research I've done, it does not look like that will be a possibility. The 1 person, 1 vote structure is a cornerstone of America, and there are some very limited exceptions, and the Florida Supreme Court carved out a couple, which are community development districts and special districts where certainly you can vote based on land ownership. But those are generally have to be very limited in power. And so all the research that I've done basically shows that we have essentially 3 options. Either 1, we can keep the system that we have in place now, which is $1, 1 vote, with the 2 landowner seats. The other option is to go back to the Chapter 189, which is a 1 acre, 1 vote. That's per Florida statute. Or the third option is to go to the 5 popularly elected seats. Based on the research, I think it's inevitable. Eventually, we're going to have to go to 5 popularly elected seats. But as long as we have outstanding bonds and those type of issues, the landowner system that we have in place still makes sense legally. So based on the research I've done so far, those are our 3 options. So we just wanted to let the landowners that are present know that that's what the board is looking into, and that's what I'll be advising the board when we have the new board set after we reconvene the board meeting. So.
Public comment?
I'll be brief, Dave Howard. When I talked to you earlier, John, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So used to saying John, these things. David, the roadblock regarding the 1 parcel, 1 vote was based upon opinions from the...
Correct. There's nothing that I have seen that says that's a possible way to do it. And, obviously we're not a charter county. We get our power from the county, and there's no state statute that would enable that scheme to allow that to happen. So, based on the case law research I've done, there's some opinions coming out from this. It was back in 1986. I'm sorry, when some of these special districts were becoming a big deal or being challenged by the state versus whether or not it had to be 1 person, 1 vote. And that's where that line of case law came into effect.
Okay. Unlike the $1, 1 vote, some people were pretty unique there in that regard as well.
Yeah, correct. There's some basis for that, and I didn't go back and re-research what John and Ross Macbeth did to make that happen. In the research that I did, there's some talk about that. It was specific to water districts where they were creating water districts under a special water district. And those votes were based on amounts that were paid in.
Okay, thank you.
No other public comments?
Frank Goldie on the resident. Are you saying we're staying with the way it is, $1, 1 vote?
So I'm saying that's one of what I see to be one of 3 options. And so then when we reconvene the board meeting, I'll get new direction from the board on which of those they want me to pursue.
Okay, as far as I'm concerned, I think we should stay with 1 property, 1 vote, 1 strap number, 1 vote. The state would they get 1 vote per acre, just the way it used to be? Just like the hospital?
If we move back to the 189, then yes, it would be, if we go back down to under chapter 189, we do the urbanization determination, and that would determine how many landowner seats are required and what the voting power would be 1 acre.
As far as the landowner seats, we have 3 seats where a popular elected. So basically, we have control of the vote. Now, if a landowner comes in here and buys property, he's got a voice. We have an awful lot of empty lots here, like in the neighborhood of probably 8,500. And I think it would be wise for us to at least give the individual a vote if he wants to come in here and buy a huge piece of property. He doesn't necessarily have the power to override us, but at least he has a voice. Thank you.
Any more public comment? You're grinning, Mark. Otherwise, I will adjourn this meeting.
I thought it was a friend of yours. Left you couldn't speak.
The supervisors want to take the vote.
You're the greatest.
I don't know.
I don't reconvene a regular meeting. First order of business is to administer the oath of office to our new board member. So Craig, if you can come up.
You want to go first? Doesn't matter?
I'm here.
Okay. So, repeat after me, I'll start. Actually, I'm going to take these back.
Take this one.
Is that right? Testing. I, Craig Herrick, a citizen of the state of Florida
I, Craig Herrick, a citizen of the state of Florida
and of the United States of America,
and of the United States of America,
and being an officer of the Sun and Lake of Sebring Improvement District,
and being an officer of the Sun and Lake of Sebring Improvement District Board of Supervisors,
and a recipient of public funds,
and a recipient of public funds,
do hereby solemnly swear or affirm
do hereby solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Florida,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Florida,
and that I will honestly, faithfully, and impartially perform the duties entrusted to me while in office as supervisor
and that I will honestly, faithfully, and impartially perform the duties entrusted to me while in the office as superintendent of the Sun and Lake of Sebring Improvement District
Board of Supervisors,
Board of Supervisors,
and will not neglect any duty imposed upon me by law, so help me God.
and will not neglect any duty imposed upon me by law. So help me God.
I, Michael Gilpin, a citizen of the state of Florida and of the United States of America,
I, Michael Gilpin, a citizen of the state of Florida and of the United States of America,
and being an officer of the Sun and Lake of Sebring Improvement District Board of Supervisors,
and being an officer of the Sun and Lake of Sebring Improvement District Board of Supervisors,
and a recipient of public funds,
and a recipient of public funds,
do hereby solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
do hereby solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the state of Florida,
and the state of Florida,
and that I will honestly, faithfully, and impartially perform the duties entrusted to me
and that I will honestly, faithfully, and impartially perform the duties entrusted to me
while in office as supervisor of the Sun and Lake of Sebring Improvement District Board of Supervisors,
while an officer and supervisor of the Sun and Lake of Sebring Improvement District Board of Supervisors,
and will not neglect any duty imposed upon me by law, so help me God.
and will not neglect any duty imposed upon me by law, so help me God.
Anybody?
No, the board.
The board. Just the board.
I nominate you, John. Are there any other nominations? I just point the nominations are closed. Do we need a vote? I'm sorry.
We guess there needs to be a roll call vote, but there's only one nominee. So.
All right. So it's simply a yes or no, right? All right. Any public comment before we move? Okay, Tanya.
Supervisor Merrick?
Yes.
Supervisor Brooks?
Yes.
Supervisor Gilpin?
Yes.
Supervisor Natali?
Yes.
President Branson?
Yes.
Supervisor Branson.
Okay, for the office of Vice President, the floor now open for nominations.
Nominate Mike Gilpin.
We have a nomination for Mike Gilpin. Are there any other nominations?
I nominate Ray Brooks.
I declare it will be a roll call vote. And when you're called, you're simply say the name of your preferred candidate. The nominations are now closed. Any public comment? Tanya?
Supervisor Gilpin?
Yes. No, I've got somebody.
Yourself or Mr. Brooks?
Yourself and Mr. Brooks. For Vice President?
Yes.
You nominate for yourself?
Yes.
For Vice? Okay. Supervisor Vitale?
Mr. Brooks?
Supervisor Brooks?
Supervisor Brooks.
Supervisor Branson?
Gilpin?
Supervisor Merrick?
Gilpin.
Supervisor Gilpin, 3-2 for Vice President.
All right, for treasurer?
Omar De Jesus. Finance Director?
He's current.
Yeah. He's not present, but I mean, he's currently our treasurer. Yeah, but it needs to be nominated from the floor, so.
I nominate Omar De Jesus.
I'll second that.
Any other nominations? Nominations are closed. Any public comment? All right, Tanya?
Supervisor Vitale?
Yes.
Supervisor Brooks?
Yes.
Supervisor Gilpin?
Yes.
Supervisor Branson?
Yes.
Supervisor Merrick?
Yes.
For secretary?
I nominate Chrissy.
I'll second that.
We have a nomination and a second. Any further nominations? Any public comment? Tanya?
Supervisor Merrick?
Yes.
Supervisor Brooks?
Yes.
Supervisor Gilpin?
Yes.
Supervisor Vitale?
Yes.
Supervisor Branson?
Yes. Any other items?
None?
Petitions and communications?
None?
Staff reports?
Yes. All right, Lemire's gonna come up. Testing. Testing. Testing.
Good afternoon, supervisors. Just got a few quick updates for you. I know you guys have been here a long day, so I try not to keep you too long there. Couple golf course updates. I'm sure you've been by the clubhouse and you can see that the curbing was completed this week and that the staff is out there currently working on siding the areas and the coquina. It looks really nice. Out on the golf courses, on Toro Run, all of the overseeded areas have had fertilizer and doing very well. We've added more coquina areas on hole number 12 deer. On 14 deer, the district work on the lift station is continuing. Some of the cleanup and repair work began yesterday as far as the excavator tracks that went across the first part of the fairway. The damage, in my opinion, wasn't really too bad, but they're putting some sod out there. So it could take a couple days to get that cleaned up, and overall, we'll be keeping an eye on that to make sure that that is up to his standard. Any questions on the golf course update? Okay, last meeting, I was asked about a membership update, so I put some numbers together for you. They have changed since the last time slightly, all for the good. We now have 371 total memberships. 41 are the new 50% off memberships. There are still 18 active free memberships, and those will expire throughout the year, all the way till, I believe the last one is actually all the way till December, so there'll be active free memberships through all of this year. Out of the free membership program, we have retained 11 of those memberships, so that I would consider that a success. As far as the regular, or all the other memberships, I should say, there were 59 downgrades from last fiscal year. That includes expired memberships, so it'll be somebody that has not renewed. On the other side, there was 88 upgraded, which includes all new members in our membership program. That puts our total dollar amount at around $1,071,000. That's roughly $71,000 over budget. So it's pretty good. How that last year we were shy of those 9 something. So I want to say it was $80,000 more than last year when I was looking at it. I don't have that exact number here, but I think that's pretty close. How that plays out in the course. So far through the first quarter of the fiscal year, with membership being up, we've had 1,500 more member amounts. So that's fairly significant. That is versus last year. We have had 600 less public rounds versus prior year. Now that can equate directly because some of those public rounds last year are now member rounds this year. And that also equates that obviously the more member rounds being played, there is less available tea time for the public to play. I think there's a small percentage of that has to do with weather. I mean, we had awesome weather last year. However, I think that's more on the insignificant side. So we've had a net gain of around 900 rounds in the first quarter. So the golf course is busy, which is good.
Hey Mike, you send us your review of the memberships, how it breaks down everything this year versus last year. Can you send that to us?
I can send you the file. I mean, I can send you the math that I've done as well if you'd like, or you can do those functions yourself.
Send it to me so I can read it.
I can send that. I can send that Excel file for you. Yeah, that's absolutely. Is there any more questions on membership? Okay, clubhouse projects. Unfortunately, we got news this week that the blinds have been pushed back a couple weeks due to manufacturing. They are due to ship today. We were told that they were supposed to ship today. I know that's not the news we want to hear, but unfortunately it is what it is.
We have a good date to tell people. I tell people all the time, and they look at me like I'm an idiot because I give the wrong dates.
No, I understand, and we feel the same way as you.
What do we tell them?
Something you don't know.
I mean, we can't give you an exact date yet.
How about a month? We do a month.
I would certainly hope we're done in a month. As I spoke about in the last meeting, I'm hopefully reaching the end of acquiring acoustic quotes to address the sound issues in the clubhouse. My goal is to try to present something in February. Things look to be trending in that direction, so I really hope, depending on the timing of the meeting, that I can present that, and I will work with things to make sure we can get that to you ahead of time. A couple other notes that I have. Brian Rhodes, our new Regional Director of Operations for Billy Casper. I'm sure you heard that he was hired, but he has relocated himself to Florida. He's staying in the Lakeland area, so he's fairly close. He made a visit last week. Awesome person. I know by coincidence we ran into Mr. Goodwin and he got to meet him. I didn't really spend any time with him, but if anybody's interested in meeting him, let me know. I think he's going to be a huge asset to us here, and I look forward to working with him as we move forward. Just a couple other quick notes around the restaurant. Obviously, one of our biggest obstacles as far as service goes, we're trying to make some big stabs at this, and we're starting to create a service plan, and that includes a new food and beverage training manual that we have created. And we're also going to be working with some of the Billy Casper representatives here in the near future to brainstorm and put that plan together and further. Obviously, that's a big thing on my list of things to tackle, and I'm looking forward to having some really good results very quickly. On the other side of things, in the lieu of the incident that happened on Saturday evening at the couples event, I'm very glad to hear that Jerry's doing well. But it also brings to my attention that we need to be more trained for situations like that. As unfortunately, that's not going to be the last time that that's going to happen at this club. In fact, it happened today. Not nearly as serious, but and obviously catches your attention every time. But we had to run all the way down the course to 16 turtle with the defibrillator. And I don't know if you guys are aware of statistics with defibrillators, but I don't want to misquote the numbers, but basically you have in the first 2 minutes of a heart attack, if you can put a defibrillator on that person, you have in the upwards of 90% positive rate of keeping that person alive. After the first 2 minutes, that number drops significantly. And with that being said, we've done training on the AEDs here at the club. We have several of us that have gone through that training. However, we have a lot of new faces, and a lot of those new faces have not. And also, there's a lot of the membership that is in and around the club that I don't even know where the defibrillator is. So what you're going to see, I'm working, with Tanya, their office has been trained on it. We need to let everybody know that as a member of the club, I'm going to invite folks to come join some training, CPR training, AED training. People need to know where that is because we can definitely save more lives. And I think it worked in this case.
It is not a difficult training.
It is not a difficult training. That is very, very true. Does anybody have any more questions for me?
I've not seen a formal announcement about the jury session. Has there been one that I missed it?
There has not been one from...
Okay, I think we should acknowledge the fact that Mike has been offered and accepted the general on a permanent basis as opposed to an interim basis. And I know that pleases a lot of people who were hoping that would happen, so I just want to make sure that everybody's aware of that.
It shouldn't come from you, though.
It shouldn't come from me, you're right.
It should. Either get your boss to do it, get somebody from Casper to do it, or we should have the district office do it. Don't send it out on your own.
Understood.
I have a question for you. I don't think we get a clarification. We spoke last meeting about the shed behind the building. And now I understand Mike is explaining what you guys are going to try and do with that. But when I went back and looked at it last, there's that, what do you call it, a trailer that's next to the shed?
Yeah.
I assume that trailer's going to go. If it's not, we should really think about it.
Sure. So that trailer used to be behind the old kitchen in that little area, and everything that's in it now was in it then.
That trailer was never here before the summer.
That trailer's been here for
The summer. We ordered it for the summer.
They just moved it from around the corner. We've used that trailer all 5 years that I've been in.
Is there a reason to keep the trailer?
Currently, we can keep it for until we finish this project. I'm confident that when we finish the other shed, we should, when we move all the shelving, we should be able to have ample space to remove that.
So why have you committed that that's going to go?
Yes.
Have you decided we're going to keep the shed? Is that
No, the shed we have to keep.
we have to keep it?
Well, apparently you can't.
Who made that decision?
Huh? They made that decision, the kitchen's not big enough, and I'm not spending any more money on it.
Mike, I'm sorry, I missed your question.
I didn't know that the decision could be made that you were going to keep that shed.
Are we talking the metal one or the big metal one?
Is that whose decision is that?
When Cliff was here, Cliff wanted to keep the metal one on the concrete pad. It's so much easier to store it, it's bigger, we want to make it look like the building. The wooden shed and I think that's what we're talking about, is the one that used to be in the back of the building. That's the one that we plan on moving.
I'm talking about the trailer.
Right. Right.
The trailer is what I want to talk about.
Right, exactly. And I think that's where we're getting confused. You guys are talking about two different.
No, Mike, I just wanted to know who made the decision that we're going to keep that metal thing. I mean, I didn't know that could be made by Billy Casper or Cliff or anybody.
Well, the last meeting we did talk about it, Michael.
Okay.
Right?
I would like to explain why we need it. Because it's now that I walked back there and walked with Mike and Mike, looking at that area, we need that metal building for storage, not the shed. The shed we can move and get rid of. The shed has been something that we've used for the last 5 years for storage of tables and chairs, but we will no longer need the shed. But what Mike is representing, that space will be needed to store tables, chairs. It's going to also hold like shelving, linens.
The stage.
Oh, the staging.
Yeah.
That thing was put in temporary, and now we're going to own it. And it looks terrible. I don't care how much you're going to do. I know you need it. And that's not a question, but are you going to come to the board and ask if you can keep it, or is that just something you guys can do?
Operationally, they represented that we need it. If we don't...
Well, I didn't hear that till just now. But you needed it.
Well, that's what we're communicating to the
Right.
board.
Last meeting when we didn't talk about it.
Yeah, I know that's all.
So we're communicating it now. The interior of the facility, of the new the storage area at the clubhouse, the new area, there was a secured area built for liquor and beer. That took up some of the space where we initially had for storage, and the second being the ice machine. If you notice when you come in the back door, there's an ice machine and additional storage there to the right. That area is now taken up by that space. But Mike is representing that we do need that shed for additional storage. We can certainly talk more about it if we need to. The shed itself probably should be painted, Mike?
Yes.
If we're going to keep it there.
Painted the same color of the building. Now, in the past, they used to store tables, chairs, and everything outside. They made out of particle board. They're lasting a year, we're throwing them away because they're getting wet. Now at least Michael has an area to store everything, and it'll be locked. You know, I mean, it's just with all the new furniture that he bought, he needs more room. So, and I apologize you guys didn't know that. I mean, I don't understand, and I'll take you guys and show you exactly where we are with it. But, I mean, it's there, and it's very, very, very useful.
When we built the restaurant, that was supposed to, what happened to the storage area there now? What's there now?
There's still, well, Mike can answer that because that's his area. But,
Is there more storage there?
There is more storage there, other glassware, the glass is placed and all. Now, in the past, they used to store a lot of stairs in the AC, which was very, very dangerous where they were putting everything. So what they did is when they redid the building, they took all the stuff that was upstairs and put it in there. So we've also got all of Christmas trees and Halloween decorations, all that. It's also kept in there also. But they need the room. I mean,
I just saw that when we built that, they built the storage area so they have a place to store it.
That's what I said last time.
Exactly.
We spent $1.3 million when we outgrew it. It's great.
Could I make a comment? I can give you a little history on that. When excuse me, frankly honest, how much money did we spend in a restaurant just recently? It was a substantial sum.
$1.3 million.
Okay. When we originally built the restaurant, it wasn't supposed to be full service. Okay, it was supposed to have sandwiches and so on. If we had an event, we'd bring the food in. And probably within 2 months after we opened, we realized we did not have enough room, that we were going to be a full service restaurant. That's why we put that shed back there. Now you spent $1.5 million and you're saying we still need that shed? Who's doing the planning? Who's doing the planning? When we built the original restaurant, we made a mistake, okay? That's why that shed was there.
Thank you.
I got a question for Mike. Question on information, actually. I think Supervisor Howard, you might remember.
George Puffenberger was some years back. We had a proposal. I don't remember whether we instituted it or not. We were going to have a defibrillator in every bathroom and train all the golf course staff, not just 3 or 4. Because some of those folks are working on a golf course where we got to call a pro shop. Somebody comes out, that's more than 2 minutes not seeing. There were 2 guys who died on the golf course, so don't play golf with me. Both of them's heart attacks were both fatal. Neither would have got there in 2 minutes. The other issue is, I didn't realize you said Mike had that offer the job as chairman or director. I didn't hear that. My understanding, yes.
I accepted the position.
You had accepted. So there's no need for the board to kick in their recommendation then?
No, this time.
Okay. Thank you. I'm happy for you, Mike.
Yes, and I appreciate your comments on the CPR and AD training, and I fully agree with you on having.
Yeah, I mean, what's the average age? Remember, 75, 74?
Yes, absolutely.
So it's going to happen.
Yes, and the response time from the clubhouse is not fast enough.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Any more questions or comments? Thank you.
I didn't realize he got the job.
One quick question. What are we storing in the car funds, if anything?
All the surplus that we had from the restaurant has been put on the surplus list, and that should be being moved out of here, so it should be empty in a few, within a week or two, a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Okay.
We have extra golf carts though in those sheds. Is that correct in the winter season?
Yeah, that's correct. We do have 10 extra golf carts that don't fit in the cart barn during the winter season, and so they are stored in those sheds.
And how many? I'll count.
It makes it so we have 100 carts on our fleet, and we sell them at 10 in the wintertime, so we have 110 on a daily basis in winter.
But there's a lot more openings, or a lot more cart openings in that one shed that's not being used.
There's plenty of room in the shed, yes.
Okay.
Quick update on the speed cushions. They have been delivered, correct?
Yes, they have
Okay,
been
speed
delivered.
cushions. We are waiting on the mobile speed sign itself. We received a confirmation today that it was shipped today, and this is the mobile speed sign. But the cushions are in, and staff plans to start the installation of those cushions next week.
Yes, next week you and I have to sit down and
Okay.
just talk about.
That's just an update on
Talk about
those.
where we're going to be, how to start. That's it.
Fire, I don't know if it's you or Danny, on Kansas, the lift station that we're working on. Do those, I mean, you sent out an email, an update for us, and I kind of got a little confused because the calendar that came out said it was going to be done by February 4th, but if I read the script on the first page, it said it was going to take 9 to 10 weeks to get the electrical something. So I guess my first question is, do the people who this affects, whose drives are being affected, I guess, even though it's not their property per se, do they know it's going to be another 2 months? Have we told them? At least 2 months, right? If I'm reading it right?
Right. I'm meeting with 2 of the residents on Monday. They have some questions about the lift station, about the fence, and when it's going to be done. So yes, by Monday, they both have called me in the last 2 days. It's the first time that anyone's called about the lift station, any of the residents. So I'm meeting with them on Monday morning to explain, where we are, what we're putting up. There's been some question about a solid fence instead of a chain link fence, so we are going to go out and get a price on the chain link fence, because right now we have a solid white fence there, and y'all go by and see it,
You're not putting the same fence back in, it's still there, isn't it?
Right, yeah, that's...
Is that fence we're going to put back?
Well, that's what that's what the bid said, but they're asking, both of the residents are asking about if we could put a chain length fence there because they can see through it. So we're just going to get a price and come back to you and let you know. I mean, the residents that live there.
There's more than 2 people that are affected, or 2 homes that are affected.
Exactly.
I would like for us to contact all the people that are affected and say it's going to be at least another 2 months or 3 months.
Well, I'm going to meet with them on Monday at 9 o'clock. Right.
Just
the only two that contact.
Well, let's get ahead of the game.
Well, they're the only ones that are really affected. Those, those 2 homes right there.
Wow.
The lift station's been there for yeah, but the lift station's been there for 30 years.
But the construction and all the crap that's going on has been there for 5 weeks or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, those people that right now have to deal with that, we should decide to too. Why don't we contact them and say, hey,
okay,
we understand.
Right. Okay, we can write them a letter. Yeah, that's good. We'll write them a letter. Okay. Thank you.
Are we on time with that? So we're saying 2 more months and it'll be done. Right?
Right now we're on time, yeah.
Well, is that on time?
Well, right now we're on time, actually. Listen, if I tell you, next week there's a hold up on the electrical, then we won't be on time. But right now, yes, we are on time.
So 2 months from now, no, I'm just,
I know, Ray, but right now we're on time. I can't, we can't control if the electrical panels are a little slower.
They were ordered last week.
Excuse me?
The email said it was
Yes.
ordered last
Right.
week, 8 to 10 weeks to get delivered.
Right.
So I'm guessing, what is this, middle of
Right.
June? So by April 1, we got a chance of being done.
Correct, yes. Yes, we do.
Any property damage that we have done to anybody's property or to the golf course, I assume is going to be fixed
We are,
by someone.
right,
Doesn't
and we have
want to-
already addressed that on the golf course already. So,
Okay, so all that dirt's going to be moved and we're going to resod what
Absolutely.
is necessary to put it back.
yes.
Along.
Yep.
I got one more thing, Mike, and I don't know if it's Mike Lemire or you, but it's very famous, our ice machines. We're not going to use Palmer again, are we? Are we past getting them to fix our machines because they're not doing a very good job?
On the ice machines, they're all 5 or 6 years old, beyond how long basically what they should be lasting. We are going out and we have quotes for new ice machines, but when we get the ice machine, we want to get a maintenance contract with it. So when we buy it, whoever we buy it from will give us a maintenance contract and a warranty for so many years. So that's where we are with the ice machine. Okay.
That would have to be capital, right, next year? I assume.
Yes.
The only thing that I would add is to repair some of those ice machines is not economically feasible at this time. It's smarter to replace them.
You know, there's something to be said about always taking the lowest bid.
I agree.
I'm just concerned about the contract because it seems like when one breaks down, it's 3 months before we get it fixed. And it just looks bad that if we can't get it fixed, what, 3 months to get an ice machine fixed? I mean, I can only cover us for so long as far as the excuses.
Well, Mike and I will work on that together, so we have a maintenance contract, because we should have a maintenance contract on something like that.
Yes.
And in the past, we didn't have one, we would just hire Palmer to fix it. So that's where we were at. So we just have to be a little better with it when we buy it. And I really think that we've been improving that over the last couple of years, you know, with the PM work and the maintenance contract, we have got better with it. So, thank you.
The only other thing I had was a follow-up from our last meeting on where we are with a solution for hogs. Everything progress?
We have 2 fence companies basically in Sebring, so we've got prices on both of them. The cheapest price we've got so far, and that's a little over a mile, is about $28,000 to install from one end to the corner here. But we also have a survey. We have done. We put in a gate by the condos over the corner here, and it stops them from coming out, but they're still getting further where we have no fencing. I had a lady call me on Friday, said that they're on her back porch. I got there, they weren't on her back porch, but anyways, but we are addressing it. So.
Is that chain link?
Yes. Yes. And we also had another request for another speed bump on Granada, because we have the other ones already and people love them. So I phoned the city of told them, get a petition, write it up, and then bring it to us, and then we'll go from there. So that was it.
Okay, real quick for me, I'll be coordinating with Kenya and each of you guys individually so we can have our meeting. We can go over some sunshine law stuff and just our hair, congratulations. And again, I've got a package that I'll put together for you. We'll schedule those meetings the next couple of weeks. The litigation report, it looks like, based on emails I got today, it looks like the KW controls matter is going to settle and go away. After the matter, we have a February 3rd hearing set, which hopefully, if it goes in our favor, will greatly reduce the issues that may go to trial. And then the one that's labeled Sharma, the very last one, the quiet title, those properties, one was deeded back to being deeded to the district, and then the other one they're going to bring the assessments current, because there were some outstanding assessments. That was a tax deed sale. They purchased the property at tax deed sale, but the district's assessments survived tax deed sales. So we'll be getting some money from that, and then they're going to deed the other property that they didn't want back to the district. That's all I've got unless there's questions.
I do want to mention, if we have those kind of pricing for the chain link fence, we will have to put that out for bid if it's more than $25,000. So that may take a little more time than what we anticipated. Also, we don't have budget.
Right.
We don't have budget for that project. That's something we did not anticipate. So of course we have to bring a budget amendment to the board, for that project as well. So I just want to mention that.
What? I'm sorry.
Jamie said we don't have budget for the fence to the hogs. So we're going to have to bring it to the board because it's over $25,000. So I want to make sure everybody knows that when we bring it to the board, it's, but it's needed.
We can't do it can we do it now or next meeting for 30? Or does it have to be?
We have to put it out for bid. We have to advertise quotes, sealed quotes, so since it's more than $25,000.
Yeah, anything you can do to expedite it, do it if you can.
I would also strongly recommend that we get somebody who really knows hogs to make a recommendation, because I'm not 100% sure a chain link fence that only goes down to ground level is going to keep the hogs from getting under.
We've already done that. The both fence companies, and it's basically one of the fences we want to put up. It's called a hog fence. So obviously,
so it would go underground.
Yeah, and they painted hog wire, big wire. I don't know what they call it. Whatever, but we have researched all that.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
I really don't have anything else for today. I want to thank Chrissy for all your help today. Thank you very much. And thank you for your patience today. This is the first landowner election that we've had in 10 years, and I appreciate everyone's help.
Anything else for this business?
None.
Two business?
None.
Committee reports?
No committee reports.
Any public comment?
I wish I could get up there faster. Before you leave the hog issue, Shavita McKinney, are you all still interested in paying someone? I recently met a hogger, or whatever you call them, the guy that know how to capture them. He lives in Wauchula, but I'm sure he needs to be paid. But I had already given him Ryan's information, so have you heard from this particular? So should I let him know, or do we just want to do the fence?
A hogger? What's a hogger?
I don't know if it's called a hogger. I'm not saying the name right, but the trapper.
He traps a hog and gets them out.
He's a literal trapper.
I understand that there's so many of them.
I'd like to get rid of them any way we can.
Yeah. So have him contact her.
Yes.
Do we have the results of the voting?
Dave Howard, resident, can a pig find his way around the fence?
That's all.
I mean, if you just put a fence up and you can open in on each end, unless I misunderstood it.
I don't have it handy.
That's not a container, they just go around and
You'll put them on, yeah, I just wanted to
see
see what
the fence. I don't understand putting
Like I said, I don't have it on me.
$28,000 fence
We're
up.
recording, so.
But anyway, I'm going to go back to something more important. And David mentioned this three options on this voting procedure. Or he said, number one, leave it like it is, $1, one vote. I don't think anybody is comfortable with that. Go to the 5 popular seats, which 4 of you guys already said that you'd go for that, which got stopped halfway in between, or revert back to 189. And then at the same time, David, you said that, I believe you said that going back to 189 or the way we is not legal if we continue with our current board configuration because of things like bonding and so on and so forth. I believe that's what you said, unless I misunderstood.
No, it's not that it's not legal. It's that in my opinion, eventually we're going to have to move to the 5 popularly elected seats. And that may be years down the road, but in my opinion, based on the research that I've done, it's not something we can't maintain this $1 one vote in perpetuity.
Right, but we could go to 189 and stay there where we were.
I believe so. I believe we can go there. That would be based on the density, the urbanization density.
Right.
Reports.
Okay. Thank you.
Mark here, President. I just actually had a couple of questions or comments and requests. One of the things is when I was campaigning out there recently, and I think all of you people have gone through this, and that's being on the board in the past, you all recognize that one of the reasons people don't come to our meetings is because they feel that their voice is not being heard. Okay? I don't think there's anybody up there who will disagree. The last meeting on the 10th of January, you had an incredible turnout of people because there was a little bit of controversy about the landowner meeting or the landowner, the way we vote, and potential changes to how that would be handled. So you got 40 or 50 people here. I happen to be at that particular meeting. It seems that if we get the message out to people, they'll come. Now today was a very important day in my mind. It was an election day for a landowner seat. And we probably had 12 people here from the outside, other than the candidates and their significant others. We need to get the message out to the people a little better. In the past, they used to have an agenda come out, and I know how all of this works. It comes out once in a while, but they used to have it actually sent out on a regular basis. We have more social events come out on a regular basis, such as the ice cream social, the soda fountain special, the donuts and coffee special, but we don't have a lot of advertising about our meetings here. I think that's important, and I would like to see a little more of that being done. The other thing that I wanted to talk a little bit about, we're knocking on doors, and I hope that you guys will advertise heavily about the potential, and I know this is still in the works, the potential to donate 200 or 200,000 plus to a hospital when they're going to build this facility. What I found unanimously with everybody I spoke to, they're all adamant against it. Now that's not to say that you guys haven't spoken to some people. I think there's a lot of value in what they have, but the people are saying, why would we ever donate and then potentially, by a recommendation of somebody, potentially even increase our assessments to pay for that donation? I realize it was just a suggestion. But if you want to get more people here, you need to recognize them, you need to hear their voice. And when they come here and ask something, don't brush them off, because that's what we've been doing. And I will be the first one to admit, there were times when I was up there, I wasn't intentionally brushing them off, but it got to the point where we had 8 or 10 meetings, they didn't show up. And then when they showed up and said, we've had 10 meetings on this, we're already ready to pass a resolution. So once again, I request that you guys notify in the district, notify people when the important votes are coming up before the actual vote to say we're having a meeting on this particular item. Thank you very much for your time.
You have to make a restaurant. I was on the board when we built that restaurant, so I have to take part of the credit for this good. We did make a mistake with that kitchen, and I guess the expansion was supposed to take care of that, wasn't it? The money that was spent recently, wasn't that supposed to take care of that trailer situation?
Yeah.
So you're not the only one who makes mistakes.
Any additional comments, public comment? Any discussions from the board?
I'd like to clarify a position that they said that I was interested in 5 landowner seats. I am not interested in 5 landowner seats. What I'm interested in is that everyone that has property in the district has a voice. And I don't like the idea of taking voting rights away from the people. That's what I said, if we could get all popular votes, could have everybody included in that, I think that's fine. But when you don't have the voting rights of all people in the district, I think I can't support that. That's my position. It wasn't that I wanted 5 extra seats.
And while you guys are up there discussing that, and that's what I'd like some direction based on the research that I've done so far. We can't move forward with the proposal for 1 vote per strap number. So of the 3 potential options, either we leave it the way it is, the $1 1 vote, we look into moving back towards the 1 acre 1 vote under 189, or move to the 5 popularly elected seats. If we can, you guys can have some discussion about that and let me know where you want to be focusing. We're actually focusing our research.
I'd rather not talk about it.
That's fine.
I'm serious. I mean, I got a call at 1:30 last night, 4 o'clock, whatever time it was, and that's when I was told what the options were, and quite frankly, I'm not prepared to discuss it.
That's fine.
It's not 1 acre, 1 vote. Okay? The only people that have 1 acre, 1 vote is a hospital and Tangover. The rest of them, if you own a parcel here, which is a strap number, you have a vote.
Frank, there's more with 1 acre, 1 vote than the hospital in Tanglewood. There's not very many, but there is a few. Obadiah.
Frank, I believe the 1 acre, 1 vote thing says that it's if there's a home on the lot, it's a minimum of 1 vote per lot. In other words, if there's a home there, it does equal, it's an equivalent to an acre, even though it's only a quarter of an acre.
If you own 1 parcel, you get a vote.
Yeah, if you own 1 parcel, you get a vote. Yeah, that's the way I remember it. You don't have to have an acre to get a vote.
Correct. It's 1 vote per acre or percentage thereof. So if we have 2 lots, you still only get 1 vote because 2 lots combined together is less than 1 acre.
Correct. But you've been in them, you do get a vote if you've got a parcel.
One more comment. Greg, you were saying, what you were proposing is you would like to see everybody have a vote in every election if they have property in a district. Yes. Basically, that's a landowner, not a popular. So, I know it's split hairs, but if you read the differential between the two, popular, you have to be a qualified elector, and a landowner who don't even have to live in the district, as long as you own land in the district and have property in the district. So, it's really, it's complicated.
I just cannot, in my mind, support not having them have the right to vote, have some say on how their assessments are being used. And if it's only the 2 seats, then so be it.
But it is for 2 seats.
Yeah,
right.
I understand that. But I would say what I wanted to see is there a way that we could let them vote on all 5 seats. I don't care whether you call them popular, landowner, or whatever, that allows them to vote on all seats. Yeah. That's where I'm at.
It's almost impossible to do that, I think.
But very well be. But very well
And what I would say is, I think they can have voice. They just may not be able to vote if it were 5 popular seats, but they can still come to these meetings and we'll still listen. So I don't know that makes a big. It's all splitting hairs to some. Well, yeah, but anybody who has, if they come from Canada or the north and they're snowbirding and they live in Avon Park or Sebring, anywhere not in the special improvement district, they don't get a vote. And they still have to pay for the county, all the county work.
So I understand. They come, they're not paying the assessment.
I understand.
The taxes.
The one, I don't know where we're going to go on this, but my best guess is we're probably going to leave it somewhere similar to what it is right now. And what I would like to see is, while everything is still fresh, that staff take a good look at what worked and what didn't work with this election and lay the groundwork for what the next election is going to be, even though it's going to be 2 years from now. Let's get some rules in place now while it's fresh, so that we know that we've got a smoother process than we did this year.
Absolutely, I agree.
At a minimum, I would think that would include things like public forums where we can schedule time for the candidates to speak to the public, whether it's a Monday coffee or a special meeting, not a special board meeting, just an evening, and potentially having rules such as, you can vote the day of the election, but any proxies have to be turned in by Thursday night or Wednesday night or whatever, so that there's time and we don't have huge delays like we did today. Those are just a couple of thoughts that came off my head. But you guys were in the pits, have I'm sure, ideas of what worked and what didn't.
And I would like to extend the qualification period if we can, because it's only 30 days in between the time you qualify to the time of the election too. So again, if there were 60 days, that would give candidates more time and get everyone more time.
All that makes sense. I would say let's put together a recommendation from staff and let the board look at it and put together some rules, knowing that they may need to be slightly adjusted again before the next election, depending on how we decide to vote.
I didn't know if you still had public comment. Thank you, Mark, President. I might have missed part of that because I was talking to Mr. Hurley back there. But did I hear the question about 60 days notice?
That's just an example. I'd like to, if we're going to change policy procedures, I'd like to give the candidates more time than 30 days and extend that qualification period as an option.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. But that doesn't preclude anybody from announcing in advance that there's an election coming up. For an example, I believe in November we have an election coming up. And I don't know yet that it's even on the Highlands County website for any of the 2 seats that are up.
Right.
Okay, I haven't seen that yet, but even if it requires somebody to declare within a certain period of time, i.e. 60 days or 30 days, like I said, that doesn't preclude you from saying, we have an election coming up, and keep that information flowing so people know, instead of 30 days before, 60 days before, and then everybody's scrambling to put their names in to start doing some kind of form of campaigning and things of that nature. I think it will make it a smoother process. It will make it easier for the district. Because I'll tell you, this was a tough time for everybody, including myself. Nobody got to meet the candidates. My bio was never on the website. It got on the website this Wednesday. People didn't even know I was running, other than when I went to the door. Okay? So I think we need to do something. If you want to attract more people up here, I think you need to advertise a little better. And open it up to the community, not just to special interest groups.
Costi, resident. If any more than one of you want me to sit down, I will. And I think I will anyway. Great going, guys. See you next year.
Go for it. I'm done. Give us your best shot.
We're adjourned.